morning, good evening, wherever you may be watching this video. Today is a very special day, a historic day, in fact. Today, FAssets went live on the Flare Mainnet. So, before we get things started, man, because today is such a special day, want to give a cheers, a shout out to the Flare team for pulling through, avoiding all the noise and staying focused. But I also want to give a shout out to the Flare community for being resilient and really digging in the weeds and educating themselves and educating all newcomers and really preparing for this historic day. So, with that being said, cheers to you. All right, now we got that out the way. Let's get back to business. Today, we're going to go through what you can actually do with FAssets once you have minted FXRP. We hit the 5 million XRP cap in a matter of 4 hours. So this did not take long once the word got out that FAssets were live on mainnet for us to hit this cap. So that's pretty big in my opinion. So we'll have to wait until next week when the cap space is refreshed or there's additional cap space added. But in the meantime, there is indeed things that you can do with your FXRP if you were able to mint some FXRP on Flare Network. There's LPs you can get in on. There's perps. There's money markets like Kinetic. There's several things that we can do today with our FXRP, and then several things that we can look forward to on the horizon to be able to leverage our FXRP and earn a yield. So with that being said, let's get right into today's content. All right, first things first, I want to show you the FAsset dashboard that you can view and kind of keep track of the overall FAsset system. You can view how many lots are available. You can view how many FAssets you have minted. You can even see your pools if you put assets in the community collateral pools, and so on and so forth. You can even look at like activity over time for FAsset minting, redemptions. If you scroll down all the way down here, you can see other, dApps that you can put your FAssets to work in. So that's always helpful, especially for those that really don't know what to do next. But I don't know why you would be minting FAssets to begin with if you don't already have a plan, so you should know what you're going to do next. That's just my opinion. Don't just blindly mint FAssets if you don't know what you're doing or you don't know what you want to do, what your goals are. So this is a very comprehensive dashboard. I think this is going to be a very useful tool as we see the system mature. So you can see that I was able to mint some FAssets myself. I'll have to wait for the cap space to be refreshed or more cap space to be added in order to finish my minting because I'm far from done personally. But I also need cap space available to even create a how-to walkthrough, how to mint FAssets on Flare Mainnet. You guys aped in before I could even get off work, which is fine. That's a good problem to have. So I couldn't make my tutorial today, but that's totally fine. I'm glad that as many people that wanted to get in got in, and if you didn't, just sit, wait, calm down. You only gotta wait a week. More cap space is available. Do not trade for FXRP on a high premium. Don't feel the need to FOMO into FXRP because you weren't able to mint FXRP when lot space was available. It, in my opinion, would be more idiotic than anything to swap for FXRP on a high premium and pay more for FXRP than what the underlying asset, which is XRP, is worth. Obviously, you can do that, but that'd be foolish, in my opinion. But if you do that, arbitrageurs are going to take advantage of that. So ultimately you'll be the one on the losing side, whereas arbitrageurs like myself who will be looking for those opportunities will be taking advantage of your foolishness and your impatience. So my advice would be to hold out, wait until cap space is added, and then mint FXRP for the proper allotment. So yeah, this is a good dashboard, something that you might want to keep in mind. I'll have a link to this dashboard in the description of the video. Just wanted to start there. I mean, it's pretty cool. Like I've already earned $4.55 worth of XRP, and simply for having Flare in the community collateral pool, and I'm earning FXRP as a fee. I mean, that's awesome. Being able to passively earn XRP, I'm all for that. Now, when as more FAssets go live, if you stake, Flare to those collateral pools to help facilitate the minting, for instance, like BTC, you'll be able to earn FBTC as a reward for having assets in the collateral pool. So that's pretty awesome if you ask me. Moving on, what can you do with your FXRP once you have it minted? Well, there's a couple of options. You have some pretty good options, if you ask me. Let's start with LPs. So you can supply liquidity on dexes, whether it's Enosis, SparkDex, or BlazeSwap, and each one of them are offering some pretty intriguing, pretty enticing APYs to supply FXRP and another asset paired with it. So, for instance, on a Gnosis right now, pairing Wrap Flare and FXRP together, you are looking at earning 212% APY. FXRP USDT 0 looking at 234%, which is awesome, and it's incentivized with our Flare rewards. The Wrap Flare FXRP pool doesn't seem to be incentivized with our Flare rewards, but it is incentivized with Abscess. If you know anything about the Enosis Loans V2, Abscess might be pretty attractive to you if you're interested in that protocol, but that's a different topic for a different day. HLN FXRP, again, incentivized with Abscess, you're currently looking at a 60% APY, which is pretty nice if you're interested in that. And that's really it for FXRP on Enosis. There's plenty of things to look forward to in the future, like the Enosis Loans V2, where you can mint stablecoins against your FXRP as collateral. So if you want exposure to stablecoins, you can do that without selling assets. That is nice. If you want to learn how that works, check out my video that I'll have on the ending screen of this video that I created a few days ago. All right, so let's move over to SparkDex. SparkDex also has LPs available that you can put your FXRP to work in. Right now, they just have FXRP USDT 0, currently offering 110% APR on pairing FXRP and USDT 0 together. That's pretty nice. It looks like TVL for that has already been built up to 898K. That's pretty nice. Shouldn't take too long for that to get to 1 million, especially with a APR of 110%, almost 111%. 107.5% of that is denominated in our Flare rewards, where you will be earning 3.32% of that 110% or 111% in actual trading fees. So that's actually pretty nice. That's pretty nice. That's pretty nice. BlazeSwap. Now, BlazeSwap is a Uni V2 based DEX, and you can't actually see the pool. But if you go over to their X account, thought I had this up, but oh well. Looks like they are offering our Flare rewards if you pull together FXRP USDT 0, and the current APR is 50%. So that is also enticing. You got plenty of options when it comes to DEX LPs, so take your pick. Moving on to borrow lend money markets, we have Kinetic. For those that already know this, this is how you kind of see the different markets available on Kinetic. For those that are new here, Kinetic is a borrow lend platform that allows you to put up or supply assets for others to borrow against, or if you need liquidity but don't want to sell your assets, you can borrow against your own collateral. And that is pretty nice. You can borrow other cryptos, or you could borrow stable coins that way as well. and have access to that liquidity without selling your assets. Now, looking at FXRP specifically, currently FXRP is an ISO market only, not a primary market. There's a difference. I'm pretty sure that's only going to be that way while FXRP is building up its liquidity on the network. Once it's been built up to a certain threshold, it will move over to a primary market. That's totally fine. Currently, you can earn 6.03% APY for supplying FXRP, which is pretty nice, and that's totally denominated in our Flare rewards, is what you would be earning. So, for those that may not want to enter LPs, that may not be your speed, you don't want to deal with, impermanent loss or anything like that. This money market supplying FXRP and earning a yield may be where you want to look instead. Okay, moving on. For my traders out there, we have FlameX. It is a decentralized perps exchange on the Flare network that will allow you to use your FXRP as collateral and open up perps positions. So right now, collateral types are Flare, S Flare, USDT0, and FXRP. The assets that you can trade or open positions on the platform is BTC, ETH, BNB, Sol, and of course Flare. For BTC and ETH, they allow up to 500x leverage. If you're a true DGen, that might be enticing to you. And then BNB, Sol, and Flare, you can only go up to 100x leverage. You'll earn Flare points and FlameX points for opening up positions and trading on the platform. Don't necessarily know what those points would be used for. You're supposed to also be earning our Flare rewards, but we don't know how much just yet. We're looking for some more information to come out from the FlameX team on how points will be used, what you can use them for, and what the R Flare allocation is. So, for my DGen traders out there, or just my more sophisticated traders, you have a platform to put your FXRP to work. You can also supply liquidity to these various pools to facilitate the trades on the platform, whether trader performance is positive or negative. By supplying liquidity, you definitely get a part of the trading fees. So that's always nice if that's something enticing to you. But yeah, moving on. Things to look forward to. Two dApps, in my opinion, that you should be looking forward to as a FXRP holder on the Flare network. One of them is the Enosis loans. I made a video walkthrough about Enosis loans and what it is, but in a nutshell, it's essentially a CDP product or a collateral debt position product that allows you to use your FXRP and wrap Flare and a few other assets in the future and mint stablecoins against that FXRP as collateral. If you want access to stablecoins, but you don't necessarily want to sell your assets in order to get that access, or you don't necessarily want to go through a traditional money market like a Kinetic, you can leverage your assets as collateral, your FXRP as collateral, and mint a stablecoin against that. And then you can use that stablecoin to earn in a multitude of ways, whether it's in the stability pool, on Enosis loans, or elsewhere in the ecosystem. I'm pretty sure the CDP dollar will be a asset widely accepted in the ecosystem. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. So this is upcoming. This is currently in testing, public testing on a Gnosis loans over on Costin 2. So if you want to understand how this works, be sure to check out my video, but also play around with this. Before you get to clicking buttons on mainnet when this goes live, make sure you attempted to use and understand this product, learn how this product works. There's also documentation that goes through the ins and outs on how this is supposed to work. Learn how to use this. Actually click the buttons while in testnet before you use this product in mainnet. You want to figure out if this is even something that you're interested in. Nothing is worse than putting assets at risk unnecessarily when you don't really know what you're doing. So heed my advice. And then the next thing to look forward to is Firelight Staking, the liquid staking solution being brought to the network by Firelight, which is backed by Centaur Capital. Firelight is going to allow you to stake your FXRP in the Firelight Vault and receive staked XRP as a liquid staking version of FXRP. Now, what are you doing by staking FXRP? When you stake FXRP, you're supplying a security service to what's called ESS, or economically secure services. You are securing or providing security to DeFi protocols on the network. Think of it as insurance. They're literally calling this the missing DeFi primitive insurance in case of a hack or anything that can potentially go wrong with whatever DeFi's protocol that the ESS is securing. You are in turn paid for that service. You're earning a yield on the staked XRP, or you're earning a yield on the FXRP that you staked. Then you can turn around and use the liquid staked version of that FXRP, which is staked XRP, and use that elsewhere on the network to compound your yield. So it is going to prove, in my opinion, to be a very powerful yield generating opportunity for FXRP and bring a lot of demand and interest to the Flare network. And that's just my opinion. So I know I didn't necessarily do a walkthrough on how to mint. Stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for a how to mint FXRP walkthrough coming soon once those caps are freed up or there's more cap space added. And then, yeah, this is just the beginning. We're just getting started. It's an exciting day. If you were able to join us earlier today during the impromptu spaces, we celebrated the launch of FAssets on Mainnet. We kind of came together, we gathered as a community, discussed the journey that it was leading up to this historic day, and really just, took a moment to smell the flowers. It was a pretty beautiful moment hearing Hugo and what he is feeling, what the team is feeling, the many DApp partners that have been along this journey with us, the community members that have been here since day one, and just to really, take a moment to pause and appreciate the progress, and just realize that, man, this is just the beginning. We have plenty of other FSets to come. We have plenty of other opportunities to generate yield on the Flare network. And like I said, this is just the beginning. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found this video informative. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.